Your Honors, Premier, members of the Legislative Assembly, members of the Advisory Council, 2019 recipients of the Order of New Brunswick, distinguished guests. Je tiens à vous souhaiter la bienvenue à la cérémonie de remise des insignes de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. I would like to welcome everyone to the Order of New Brunswick investiture ceremony. My name is Jean-Marc Dupuis. I am the Chief Operating Officer, Executive Council of the Executive Council, Clerk of the Executive Council, and Head of the Public Service for the Province of New Brunswick. I have the distinct pleasure of being your Master of Ceremonies today for today's special event in this beautiful historic building, honoring our distinguished appointees to the Order of New Brunswick. We, the Government of New Brunswick, recognize and respect that New Brunswick comprises part of traditional territories of the Wolastoqey, Mi'kmaq, and Beska-Dumugari peoples. L'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick est la plus haute distinction honorifique de la province et aujourd'hui, nous honorons les 10 récipiendaires de 2019 qui ont contribué d'une façon exceptionnelle au bien-être culturel, social ou économique du Nouveau-Brunswick et de ses résidents. I will now call upon the Lieutenant Governor, Chancellor of the Order of New Brunswick, Her Honor, the Honorable Brenda L. Murphy, to address this year's participants.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Mr. Premier, members of the Executive Council, les membres de l'Assemblée législative, nouveaux récipiendaires de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick, the newest members of the Order of New Brunswick, fiers familles et amis, proud families and friends. Bienvenue. Welcome to Government House. As you may know, Linda and I have only recently made this lovely house our home, and we're thrilled to have you, the Order of New Brunswick recipients, and your family as some of our first guests in our home. This house has played a significant role in the history of our province since well before Confederation. What better place to host the Order of New Brunswick ceremony meant to celebrate those people who have worked hard and given of themselves to make the lives of New Brunswickers better. The 10 recipients we are honoring here today, like the 166 people who have been honored in previous years, come from all walks of life and every corner of the province. The Order's members consist of artists, philanthropists, medical professionals, community volunteers, judges, lawyers, politicians, human rights workers, scientists, teachers, business people, Indigenous leaders, actors, peace officers, and the list goes on. Despite the variety in backgrounds and talents, the Order of New Brunswick brings you all together to celebrate what you have in common. That is, the drive to make a difference in your community, your province, your country, and in many cases, the world outside of New Brunswick's borders. Today, we celebrate your successes in your field of passion. Vous vous joignez à l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick en tant qu'individus qui ont fait le preuve de leur réalisation et contribution et qui ont apporté une contribution remarquable au bien-être social, culturel ou économique du Nouveau-Brunswick and de ses résidents. We will celebrate your successes, of course, but also the effort and years of dedication and selflessness that led to that success. You have given of yourself over and over again, and these efforts have been spent not for personal gain or recognition, but for the greater good. And oh my goodness, if ever there was a time that humanity needed people to do things for the greater good, I think it may be now. The world is moving fast. We're often disturbed by political drama, natural disasters, and sometimes horrific acts against humanity. And courtesy of mass and social media and the mixed blessing called the internet, we experience it all 24/7. One of the antidotes to the craziness of today's world is community. The element of happiness, such as belonging, meaning, sufficiency, security, and fairness, all exist in a healthy community. Healthy communities breed citizens who are accepting of differences and empathetic to the needs and challenges of others. When I think about our province, I think how fortunate we are to live here. The landscape is so incredibly beautiful. The many vistas of the Wolastoq or St. John River, the streets or roads lined with stately trees, the hills and the valleys, and oh, the colors this time of the year. But as you know, the landscape is only one dimension, the people who live here. Add the vibrancy to the many communities that make up our province. It is people like each of you that bring character, personality, and spirit to our province. You help to deepen the beauty of this province through your selflessness, your commitment, and your dedication. Prendre le temps de communiquer, d'apprendre, d'écouter et de comprendre est si important si nous voulons construire les gens du Nouveau-Brunswick où nos familles seront heureuses de vivre, travailler et jouer. In addition to celebrating today, there is also a lesson for me in this ceremony. Today, we say that racism and discrimination is not okay. And while we cannot right a wrong from more than a century ago by investing the Order of New Brunswick posthumously to Abraham Walker, we are today sending a strong message that basic rights and freedoms are to be afforded to everyone in our province and indeed our world. I want to also recognize the family and friends who are here today supporting the Order of New Brunswick recipients. There are few of us who can do it alone. As you hear the accomplishments of the people being honored here today, I think you'll agree with me that they've all been busy people who must have a very strong support system around them. I know firsthand the importance of having family who have often been in the background, encouraging me, supporting me, and sometimes propping me up so that I can do the things that I do. Merci beaucoup à vous les amis et les familles d'avoir donné à ces braves gens le temps, l'espace et le soutien nécessaires pour se consacrer aux activités qui les ont amenés ici aujourd'hui. And days like this are so important, not only to those being honored, but to all of us in the province. Lest it be thought boastful, we in New Brunswick don't often talk about our achievements. We have a tremendous number of things to boast about, lots to be proud of, beaucoup de choses à célébrer. Over the course of this morning, you're going to hear about the achievements and contributions of 10 amazing people joining the Order of New Brunswick, who are representative of the kinds of wonderful things going on here. I'm glad we have a chance to share your stories in celebration and as inspiration. En tant que lieutenant-gouverneur et chancelière de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick vous m'inspirez. It is my greatest wish that you do and will continue to serve as role models, motivating and empowering others to stand up, reach out, and make similarly outstanding contributions to their respective communities. You have made New Brunswick better, and this province is grateful. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.
Je vous remercie, Votre Honneur. We will now proceed to the presentation of medals to this year's distinguished recipients. Alors, sans plus tarder, nous procéderons à la remise des médailles aux récipiendaires de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Citations for each recipient will be read in the language of their choice. I would like to invite Chief Patricia Barnard to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Chief Barnard is a Wolastoqey woman, grandmother, lawyer, and chief of the Madawaska-Maliseet First Nation in northern New Brunswick. Her commitment to resolving a 250-year-old specific land claim dispute for the benefit of her community has been ongoing for the past 23 years, but this major file is only one of many of her accomplishments. Focusing on Aboriginal history and law, Chief Barnard earned a degree in education and became the first Wolastoqey woman to graduate with a law degree. She was called to the New Brunswick Bar in 2000. Along with her focus on land claim, Chief Barnard has served as a counselor for her community since 2007, becoming chief in 2013. While a counselor and legal and governance advisor to her community, Chief Barnard focused much of her time on developing and implementing policies and bylaws that promote transparency, accountability, fairness, and good governance. As chief, she was instrumental in bringing unity to the Wolastoqey Nation. In her first year as chief, Chief Barnard held the first meeting in her community towards uniting the Wolastoqey communities and was the leading promoter until a unified organization was structured. Chief Barnard continues to be instrumental in advocating for the advancement of all Indigenous people of New Brunswick by having Aboriginal and treaty rights recognized and implemented within this province and in advancing the important work of reconciliation. Self-determination and self-government are continuous goals for Chief Barnard. Madawaska First Nation's Grey Rock Power Centre is a major economic driver in the region and contributes revenues not only for her community, but also for the local municipality and for the province. The Power Centre employs over 300 people from the surrounding region. Chief Barnard's exemplary leadership has been recognized through numerous awards. Chief Barnard is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her outstanding achievements in uniting the Wolastoqey Nation in New Brunswick and for her work in the economic development of the Madawaska region. J'inviterai M. Éliodore Côté à venir recevoir l'insigne de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Le leadership entrepreneurial et les activités de bénévolat d'Éliodore Côté ont eu un impact important sur sa communauté et sur la région de Grand-Sault. M. Côté est un homme d'affaires bien connu de Grand-Sault. Il est en affaires depuis l'âge de 19 ans et il a été gérant de son propre commerce depuis 1954. Son entreprise, Meubles Côté Limité, a d'abord été un magasin d'instruments de musique, de radio et de téléviseurs. Au fil du temps, l'entreprise a élargi la gamme de produits offerts et elle se spécialise aujourd'hui dans la vente de meubles, d'électroménagers, d'appareils électriques et d'autres produits. M. Côté est né à Saint-Quentin. Il a épousé Patricia Gagnon en 1956 et le couple a eu 4 enfants, Michel, Micheline, François et Françoise, qui ont tous participé au développement de l'entreprise familiale. Le décès de François en 1987, ainsi que celui de Patricia en 2008, ont été des épreuves difficiles pour toute la famille. M. Côté a été très actif au sein de multiples organisations communautaires de la région de Grand-Sault, notamment la Chambre de commerce, le Conseil scolaire, le Conseil paroissial, la Commission de développement économique de la région de Grand-Sault et le Conseil économique du Nouveau-Brunswick. Il a également fait carrière en politique locale et provinciale, alors qu'il a été conseiller municipal de Grand-Sault et député de l'Assemblée législative de 1978 à 1982. M. Côté demeure toujours très actif dans la région et au niveau provincial, notamment dans le cadre des activités du Club Richelieu de Grand-Sault et de Richelieu International, où il a agi à titre de président international en 1989. Tout au long de ces 30 années, en tant que membre du Club Richelieu, M. Côté a participé activement à la fondation et à la mise sur pied de 3 autres clubs Richelieu. Il est aussi toujours très actif au sein de sa paroisse et du diocèse d'Edmundston. Ilioda Côté reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick pour son engagement de longue date et pour le leadership dont il a fait preuve par son action bénévole dans sa communauté. J'inviterai M. Michel Doucette à venir recevoir l'insigne de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Michel Doucette est un éminent avocat reconnu pour son expertise et son importante contribution à la compréhension et à la promotion des droits linguistiques au Nouveau-Brunswick. M. Doucette a été professeur de droit à l'Université de Moncton jusqu'au 1er juillet 2017, où il a consacré son temps à l'enseignement et à la recherche sur les droits linguistiques. Durant ses années universitaires, M. Doucette a créé le Centre international de la Common Law en français, dont il a été le directeur de 1989 à 1995. Il a également participé à la création de l'Observatoire international des droits linguistiques de la Faculté de droit, dont il a été le directeur du 1er janvier 2010 jusqu'à sa retraite. En 1992-1993, il a travaillé pour l'Agence internationale de la francophonie et il a été affecté à Paris en tant que directeur du programme d'appui au processus démocratique et à la promotion des droits de la personne. Durant cette période, il a participé à de nombreuses missions d'observation d'élections dans le monde francophone. M. Doucette a été doyen de la Faculté de droit de l'Université de Moncton de 1995 à 2000. Il a également exercé une pratique active du droit, principalement axée sur les droits linguistiques. Ce travail se poursuit aujourd'hui et a donné lieu à des comparutions devant de nombreux tribunaux canadiens dans différentes provinces, y compris la Cour suprême du Canada. De 2002 à 2010, il a été membre du Tribunal canadien des droits de la personne. Il a également reçu de nombreux prix, dont l'Ordre des francophones d'Amérique du gouvernement du Québec et le certificat de mérite civique du gouvernement du Canada. Il a été reconnu pour son engagement envers la dualité linguistique et juridique au Canada lors du Symposium national sur les langues officielles marquant le 10e anniversaire de la loi sur les langues officielles de 1988. En 1999, l'Association des juristes d'expression française du Nouveau-Brunswick lui a décerné le titre de juriste de l'année. M. Doucette a été nommé conseiller de la Reine en 2008. En 2009, la Société de l'Acadie du Nouveau-Brunswick lui a décerné le prix A.M. Sormani pour sa contribution à l'avancement de la société canadienne. Il a donné des conférences sur les droits linguistiques un peu partout au Canada et dans plusieurs pays, et il a participé à la rédaction de livres, ouvrages et études juridiques portant sur les droits linguistiques. Michel Doucette reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick pour son engagement extraordinaire envers la profession juridique et pour sa contribution exceptionnelle aux droits linguistiques du Nouveau-Brunswick. J'inviterai M. Leo Johnson à venir recevoir l'insigne de l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick. Leo Johnson est un ardent défenseur de la justice sociale qui a consacré sa vie à la réduction de la pauvreté dans sa communauté. Après avoir fait du bénévolat auprès de plusieurs organismes, la véritable mission de M. Johnson a débuté en 1979 lorsqu'il s'est inscrit comme bénévolat à la Maison Nazareth, un refuge temporaire pour les sans-abri. Il a été le premier bénévole à rejoindre l'organisme créé par Sœur Rita Barrio. Au fil des ans, plusieurs clients qui souhaitaient changer de mode de vie ont souvent demandé à M. Johnson de les aider à trouver un emploi pour se sortir de la pauvreté. C'est là qu'il a eu l'idée de recueillir les meubles non voulus des résidents de la communauté, de les nettoyer et de les vendre à des familles à faible revenu. En 2011, sous la direction de M. Johnson, le groupe Southeast Enviro Plus a été créé. L'organisme a pour mission de réduire la pauvreté et de donner une nouvelle vie au mobilier usagé. En février 2013, le magasin a ouvert ses portes à Moncton avec une modeste superficie de 2000 pieds carrés. Grâce à la détermination de M. Johnson et de son équipe, l'organisme a déménagé dans un nouvel emplacement d'une superficie de 17 500 pieds carrés. La réputation de cet organisme, désormais connu sous le nom d'Atelier Second Chance Inc., était telle qu'en août 2017, une campagne de financement lui a permis d'acheter le bâtiment où il s'était établi. Pour M. Johnson et son entourage, le véritable succès d'Atelier Second Chance Inc. réside dans les programmes offerts, en particulier ceux à l'intention des clients de l'aide sociale qui souhaitent suivre une voie plus positive. Des centaines de clients ont participé au programme proposé et selon les statistiques du ministère du Développement social, 60% parviennent à se trouver du travail. Aucun de ces résultats n'aurait été possible sans le dévouement et la compassion de M. Johnson et de son épouse Jeannette. Pour le couple, l'élément le plus gratifiant de leur travail est de voir les sourires sur les visages des apprenants à mesure qu'ils acquièrent de l'expérience et atteignent de nouveaux niveaux de réussite. M. Johnson a reçu de nombreux prix et distinctions pour son travail bénévole, notamment la médaille du souverain pour les bénévoles du gouverneur général David Johnston en 2016 et l'Ordre de Moncton en décembre 2017. Leo Johnson reçoit l'Ordre du Nouveau-Brunswick pour son engagement envers la justice sociale et pour son engagement à protéger les gens vulnérables de sa communauté. I now call upon Miss Lois Scott to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Lois Scott is a trailblazer who has worked tirelessly to improve clinical services and access to health care for all New Brunswickers. As a young girl living in Stonehaven, a small fishing community in northern New Brunswick, Miss Scott knew she wanted to be a nurse. She graduated from nursing programs at the Moncton Hospital School of Nursing, Université de Moncton, and Dalhousie University. Over her 44-year nursing career, she held a variety of positions in the emergency department at the Moncton Hospital, with the Department of Health, and as a member of the senior management team of 2 large international private sector companies. In addition, she served on many government and professional nursing and healthcare boards, advisory committees, and/or task forces which focused on quality care and clinical standards. In the early 1990s, Ms. Scott initiated the first public-private telecare service in Canada with 24/7 access. With great tenacity, a strong entrepreneurial spirit, skilled advocacy, and the support of a dedicated and competent team, she led the clinical and business development of this service from a small pilot program in New Brunswick to one that provided Canada-wide services within 4 years. Because Canada was recognized as a global telehealth leader, and Ms. Scott as one of its pioneers, she was asked to assist with the creation of the International Council of Nursing's Telenursing Network and other global telehealth initiatives. Her reputation as an international leader also resulted in invitations to speak at many healthcare conferences across North America and Europe. In addition to her impressive leadership with healthcare, Ms. Scott also participated in the advancement of other social, economic development, and post-secondary organizations, serving in governance roles for many different organizations including NBCC, IWK Healthcare, National Research Council, Friends of the Moncton Hospital Foundation, and Enterprise Greater Moncton. Ms. Scott's contributions have been recognized with awards of distinction by several organizations including NBCC Alumni, Dalhousie University, Canadian Nurses Association, the Moncton Hospital, New Brunswick Nurses Association, and International Society of Telehealth. Lois Scott is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for pioneering the establishment of a province-wide telehealth service and contributing to the well-being of all New Brunswickers. I now call upon Miss Robin Ting Lee to come forward to be invested in the Order of New Brunswick. Robin Ting Lee is an internationally renowned expert whose passion for equity, diversity, and inclusion is helping to support gender equality and challenge stereotypes in New Brunswick and around the world. Born and raised in Campbellton, Ms. Ting Lee spent many years working abroad as an international executive for a Fortune 100 company before settling in Rothsay and founding Glass Sky Incorporated, an organization that works with major employers to support equity, diversity, and inclusion strategies. Glass Sky creates free media content and research projects to support gender equality and challenge stereotypes. The company also supports microloans for female entrepreneurs in developing countries, creates opportunities for young talent in New Brunswick to network with established leaders in the community, and supports numerous organizations and special projects. Along with her work at Glass Sky, Ms. Ting Lee, in her honorary lieutenant colonel with the Canadian Armed Forces 37 Service Battalion, vice chair of the Board of Governors of the University of New Brunswick, and a founder and driving force behind Women for 50%, an initiative that focuses on increasing female representation in the New Brunswick legislature. Ms. Ting Lee has received several awards and recognitions over the course of her career. Her work promoting gender diversity has been recognized by Oxford University, where she was one of 30 women globally to pilot a new program on how women can transform leadership, and where she keynoted their 2015 International Women's Day Forum. King's College has recognized her with the Judge J. Elliott Hudson Distinguished Alumni Award for her community service, and she was named St. Francis Xavier University's Young Alumni of the Year. For her outstanding work driving change in the corporate world, Ms. Ting Lee was named to the Women Worth Watching list of top female executive trailblazers in Europe and North America, and was selected as one of the 20 most powerful and influential women in California. She was named by WXN as one of Canada's top 100 most powerful women for speaking up and driving change. She is also an author and sought-after speaker who has engaged audiences around the world on topics like women in leadership, embracing young talent, and bias-free workplaces. Robin Ting Lee is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her extraordinary achievements in leadership and her commitment to women's equality in New Brunswick. I now call upon Mr. Peter Little to come forward to accept the order on behalf of Abraham Beverly Walker. Abraham Beverly Walker was a lawyer and journalist whose commitment to civil rights continues to inspire today. Born in Belle Isle in 1851, Mr. Walker was the son of William Walker and Patience Taylor. Mr. Walker's Loyalist ancestor was among the first blacks to settle on the Kingston Peninsula upriver from St. John. It is believed Mr. Walker was educated in the school operated by William Elias Scoville, Anglican rector of Kingston, whose method of shorthand he mastered. As a young man, he worked as a stenographer and secretary for a touring lecturer in various provinces of Canada, the US, and Europe. After a studentship in the office of lawyer George Godfrey Gilbert, supporting himself as a shorthand reporter, he attended the National University in Washington, D.C., returning to St. John, law degree in hand. He was admitted as an attorney of the Supreme Court of New Brunswick in June 1881. He was called to the bar in June 1882. Mr. Walker opened a law office in St. John, but the practice struggled and he faced racial discrimination from his white colleagues. This resulted in a decision to move to the United States, heading to Georgia. Within 2 years, he returned to St. John, and in October 1892, he was the first student to enroll at the newly organized St. John Law School, now the University of New Brunswick Faculty of Law. He served as the librarian for the St. John Law Society between 1893 and 1899, was active in federal politics, working for both the Conservative and Liberal parties, and in 1903 he became the first black New Brunswicker to publish a magazine with the publication of Neath, which ran 5 issues before it ceased publication. After the collapse of Neath, Mr. Walker founded and promoted the African Civilization Movement, which aimed to recruit educated and skilled blacks from Canada and other developed nations to build a model colony for blacks in Africa. Mr. Walker died of tuberculosis in 1909. Abraham Beverly Walker is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his aspiring achievements as Canada's first black lawyer admitted to the bar and for his commitment to civil rights in New Brunswick and across North America. I now call upon Mr. James Wilson to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. James Jim Wilson is a passionate nature educator whose vast knowledge about biodiversity has had a significant impact on the conservation efforts in New Brunswick. Mr. Wilson's interest in nature began in childhood. Born in Gondola Point, Mr. Wilson, an only child, grew up reading and listening to stories about nature and taking regular walks in the woods with his father, riding on his shoulders when he was too little to walk too far. This was where his fascination with birds began. Mr. Wilson enrolled at the University of New Brunswick with the goal of becoming a wildlife biologist, but eventually decided to keep nature as a hobby and studied accounting instead. For nearly 25 years, he worked in the soft drink industry, much of that time as Chief Financial Officer of Maritime Beverages Limited, based in St. John, and later, after acquisition by Pepsi-Cola, as Atlantic Chief Financial Officer for Pepsi-Cola Canada. He married his wife Jean in 1969. Despite opportunities to work elsewhere, the couple made the decision to stay in New Brunswick, a decision neither regrets making. Mr. Wilson retired in 2002. While he does keep up with soft drink industry-related issues through regular consulting work for the corporation responsible for recycling used beverage containers across New Brunswick, retirement enabled him to devote more time to his nature interests. Mr. Wilson has served on the board of Nature New Brunswick and chaired the New Brunswick Wildlife Trust Fund, the New Brunswick Bird Records Committee, the Point Lepreau Bird Observatory, and a number of other committees and projects. He has given nature-related talks across the province to nearly 10,000 people, conducts regular interviews on CBC Radio, and provides weekly comments on nature photos submitted to the provincial newspaper, the Telegraph Journal. In June 2018, he received the Roland Michener Conservation Award from the Canadian Wildlife Federation. James Jim Wilson is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his outstanding commitment to conservation in New Brunswick and his vision in establishing the Point Lepreau Bird Observatory. I now call upon Miss Claire Wilt to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. Claire Wilt has dedicated her life to making her community and province a better place for all. Born in New Carlisle, Gaspésie, Miss Wilt comes from a family of 17 brothers and sisters. She was married to the late Andy Wilt for 52 years, and the couple have 3 children, Chris, Debbie, and Brenda, and 4 grandchildren, Raymond, René, Julie, and Allison. Her unique qualities and joie de vivre approach to life has enabled her to experience many accomplishments across various fields over the years. The first of many successes was being re-elected as member of the Bathurst Municipal Council, which allowed her the honor of serving the citizens of Bathurst for a total of 19 years. Along with her service on council, Miss Wilt is the only female honorary member of the Bathurst Kingsmen Club. On the provincial stage, Miss Wilt was the first female to serve as a candidate for the Progressive Conservative Party in her riding. Along with her political accomplishments, Miss Wilt has served as an active member of multiple nonprofit organizations that enabled her to provide aid to countless people. Of particular note, Miss Wilt was actively involved with the Canadian Cancer Society. This work saw her touch the hearts and lives of many as she made important contributions to key campaigns, including the Relay for Life, Curl for Canada, Jail and Bail, and Daffodil campaigns. Her significant contributions to this work were honored at her retirement, where Miss Wilt received an honorary staff award in recognition of her long-standing service and dedication. In addition to her political accomplishments and remarkable volunteerism, Miss Wilt is well known and deeply respected in her community for her enthusiastic personality and warm, caring demeanor. In times of despair, she is known to emanate sincere empathy to those around her and provide comfort to those who need it. Claire Wilt is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for her long-standing service to her community and extraordinary volunteerism. I now call upon Mr. John Wood to come forward to be invested with the Order of New Brunswick. John Wood has inspired many New Brunswickers with his giving spirit and drive to improve the lives of New Brunswickers living with significant disabilities. Diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy at the age of 4 and ventilated in order to breathe at the age of 16, the Oromocto native has faced countless obstacles. In spite of the difficulties faced by Mr. Wood and his family, they have remained positive. Mr. Wood focuses on leading a meaningful life surrounded by family and friends and contributing to his community. From 1998 to 2012, Mr. Wood supported the Muscular Dystrophy Association, raising approximately $300,000 through various fundraising initiatives. Although this was very rewarding to Mr. Wood, he wanted to do more. Mr. Wood's dream to give back to the community became reality in June 2012 when the John Wood Foundation was officially incorporated in New Brunswick. Operating with a volunteer board, the foundation raises money for New Brunswickers with significant physical disabilities in need of financial support. At this time, the foundation has committed $394,000, which has leveraged $2,369,000 worth of equipment and services required due to serious disabilities for individuals and families. That's $6 for every dollar shared. As Mr. Wood knows firsthand the many challenges people encounter, his goal is for his foundation to be a source of comfort and support to those in need. Mr. Wood has been recognized with many awards and distinctions for his community leadership. He is a member of the Oromocto and Area Sports Wall of Fame, Builder category, and a recipient of the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Award, the New Brunswick Human Rights Award, the Paul Harris Fellowship Award by Rotary International, and the Fredericton Community Foundation Philanthropy in Action Award for his dedication to social development. At the age of 40, Mr. Wood continues to lead an active life of charity and community service. Mr. Wood enjoys a variety of activities and inspires many with his community spirit of giving, with the support of his parents, Lynn and Wayne, his brother Art and his spouse Tanya, his nephew Gage, his nieces Brooklyn and Ava, as well as his extended family and circle of friends. John Wood is receiving the Order of New Brunswick for his incredible fundraising efforts through his own John Wood Foundation to raise money and awareness for Duchenne muscular dystrophy in New Brunswick. I now invite Honorable Blaine Higgs, Premier of New Brunswick, to speak. J'invite l'Honorable Blaine Higgs, Premier ministre du Nouveau-Brunswick, à prendre la parole.
Good morning, and firstly, congratulations to all the recipients. Well deserved. It's certainly an honor to be here. Your Honor, fellow guests, our strengths as a province has always been reflected to those who call New Brunswick home. Today, we're here to celebrate what makes our province so special: our people. Nos forces en tant que province y sont toujours reflétées dans la région de Nouveau-Brunswick. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes ici pour célébrer ce qui rend notre province si spéciale, notre population. Thank you to our Lieutenant Governor for offering her beautiful home to host this special ceremony. Chief Justice, ministers, members of the Order of New Brunswick Advisory Council, colleagues, and of course recipients, family and friends, it's a pleasure for all of us to be here, and thank you for being here. The Order of New Brunswick is the highest civilian honor in our province, It recognizes individuals who have demonstrated a high level of excellence and achievement in their field. More than 170 individuals from across New Brunswick have been invested with the Order for their dedication and service to this province, its people, and communities. Today, we add 10 more outstanding individuals to those ranks. Our province is at a turning point. Notre province se retrouve face à un moment décisif. We have a few mountains to climb, cliffs to navigate, and challenges that we need to face head-on. Status quo is no longer an option, and doing nothing is not acceptable. Knowing something is a problem, even saying something is a problem, isn't enough on its own. You need a plan, you need to take action. Le fait de savoir que quelque chose est un problème, et même de dire que quelque chose est un problème, ce n'est pas suffisant. Vous avez besoin d'un plan, vous devez agir. That's what our government has been doing. As a government, we're focused on the priorities, the affordable and responsible government, a dependable public health care, a world-class education, energized private sector, vibrant and sustainable communities, and a high-performing organization. I mention these for two reasons. First, because it's important. What makes this government and our priorities different is that we have a plan to achieve them, complete with timelines and measurables. We're committing to getting results and delivering for the New Brunswick that we love and doing what is right. And I want you all to know that. But second, is just as important, is this government cannot do it alone. Bringing about the change we need in our province will require all of us to work together and to put our different strengths and abilities, skills and experiences to use in ways that leave our province and our world better than we found it. The individuals we are honoring today have done and continue to do just that. Il sait exactement ce que les personnes que nous honorons aujourd'hui ont fait et ce qu'elles continuent de faire. Each of this year's recipients has given back to our province in profound and significant ways. It has been truly inspiring to be here this morning, to hear the stories about how 10 individuals, 10 everyday New Brunswickers, have made a difference in the lives of their friends, families, and communities. They are a testament to the impact thoughtful, committed, and passionate people can have on the world around them. Les récipiendaires de cette année montrent bien l'impact que des personnes intentionnelles, engagées et passionnées peuvent avoir sur le monde qui les entoure. Thank you for the ways you have given of yourself to help others reach their own New Brunswick dream and make this province such a wonderful place to call home. I'm confident that by working together we can grow our province into an even more prosperous, welcoming place that has room and opportunities for everyone. It's because of you and those like you that I continue to be optimistic about the future of New Brunswick. Thank you for everything you have done and continue to do. Congratulations on this well-deserved honor. Merci pour tout ce que vous avez fait et pour ce que vous continuez de faire. Félicitations pour cet honneur bien mérité. Thank you. Merci.